Hello everyone. Welcome back to Speak English Anywhere channel. I'm Jaxsyn. Today's story is about a young woman from India who dreamed of building a better future in Japan. Her journey was not easy. She faced loneliness, language barriers, culture shock, and many challenges along the way. But through courage, determination, and continuous learning, she slowly transformed her life. As you listen, try to learn new words, useful expressions, and natural English sentences. Ready? Let's begin. My name is Priya. I grew up in a small town in India. Life there was simple. Every morning, I woke up to the sound of birds and the smell of my mother's cooking. My family was not rich, but we were happy. My father worked hard every day. My mother took care of our home. They always told me the same thing: study hard and build a better future. I listened to their advice. I studied as much as I could. I dreamed of seeing the world. Whenever I watched videos about other countries, I felt excited. One country always caught my attention: Japan. The clean streets, the beautiful cities, the advanced technology, the unique culture. Everything fascinated me. I told myself, one day I will go there. Years passed. I graduated from college. After graduation, I started working at a small office in India. The salary was not bad, but I wanted more. I wanted adventure, I wanted growth, I wanted to challenge myself. Then one day, something unexpected happened. A Japanese company announced a recruitment program for international workers. My heart started racing. This was the opportunity I had been waiting for. I immediately prepared my application. The competition was tough. Thousands of people wanted the same opportunity. For weeks, I checked my email every day. I felt nervous, I felt hopeful, I felt afraid. Then one evening, I received a message. My hands trembled as I opened it. I had been accepted. I couldn't believe my eyes. I read the email 3 times. Then I ran to my parents. My mother started crying. My father smiled proudly. For years, they had watched me work toward my dream. Now it was finally happening. A few months later, I packed my bags. The night before my flight, I could not sleep. I was excited, but I was also scared. Everything was about to change. The next morning, I hugged my parents at the airport. My mother's eyes were full of tears. My father tried to stay strong. As I walked toward the departure gate, I looked back one last time. They were still waving. I waved back. Then I disappeared into the crowd. After many hours of flying, I finally arrived in Tokyo. The airport was huge. People were moving quickly in every direction. I suddenly realized something. I was alone. For the first time in my life, I was completely on my own. At first, everything felt exciting. The bright lights, the giant buildings, the fast trains, the vending machines everywhere. It felt like I had stepped into another world. But after a few weeks, the excitement began to fade. Reality arrived. I struggled with the language. Simple tasks became difficult. Buying groceries felt stressful. Ordering food felt stressful. Even asking for directions felt stressful. Sometimes people spoke too quickly. Sometimes I could not understand anything. I smiled and nodded even when I was confused. Many nights, I returned to my apartment feeling exhausted. The apartment was small, very small. Back in India, my house was always full of people. In Japan, the silence felt loud. Every evening, I ate dinner alone. I watched videos from home. I looked at old family photos. Sometimes I missed India so much that I cried. I never told anyone. I didn't want my parents to worry. Whenever they called, I smiled. I said, "Everything is great." But deep inside, I felt lonely. One rainy evening, I was sitting by the window. The city lights reflected on the wet streets below. I suddenly asked myself a question. Did I make a mistake coming here? The thought scared me. For the first time, I considered giving up. I imagined going back home. I imagined returning to my old life. It would be easier, much easier. But then I remembered something my father once told me. Growth begins where comfort ends. I repeated those words again and again. That night, I made a decision. I would not quit. I would not run away. If I wanted a better life, I needed to become stronger. So I started changing my habits. Every day after work, I studied Japanese. Every morning, I woke up 1 hour earlier. I memorized new words. I practiced speaking. I listened carefully to native speakers. At first, progress was painfully slow. Some days felt impossible. But little by little, things began to change. I started understanding train announcements. I started understanding conversations at stores. I started answering simple questions confidently. Small victories became motivation. Then one day, something happened that changed everything. After a few months in Japan, Priya slowly began to adjust to her new life. The loneliness was still there, but it no longer controlled her. She decided one thing. If Japan was now her home, then she would grow here. Not just survive, but grow. At work, she started paying attention to small things. She listened carefully when coworkers spoke in Japanese. Even when she did not understand everything, she tried to catch key words. She wrote them down in a small notebook. Every night, she reviewed them before sleeping. At first, she only understood simple phrases. Good morning. Thank you. Please wait. But little by little, her understanding improved. One morning at work, something small but important happened. A Japanese coworker smiled at her and said, "You are improving a lot." That simple sentence made her heart warm. It was the first time she felt seen, the first time she felt progress. After that, she became more confident. She started asking questions in Japanese, even if her grammar was not perfect. At first, she felt nervous every time she spoke, but her coworkers were kind. They never laughed at her mistakes. Instead, they corrected her gently. They encouraged her to keep trying. Slowly, she began to make real Japanese friends. One of them was a girl named Yumi. Yumi worked in the same company. She was cheerful, patient, and always smiling. At lunch breaks, Yumi started sitting with Priya. At first, their conversations were simple. Did you eat lunch? Yes. Was it good? Yes, very good. But over time, their conversations became longer. They talked about food, culture, and daily life. Yumi taught her Japanese slang. Priya taught Yumi about Indian food and festivals. For the first time since arriving in Japan, Priya felt like she belonged somewhere. One rainy evening, after work, Yumi invited her for dinner. They went to a small ramen shop. The smell of hot soup filled the air. Outside, rain quietly hit the windows. Inside, everything felt warm and calm. While eating, Yumi suddenly asked, "Do you ever feel lonely here?" Priya paused. She looked down at her bowl. Then she smiled slightly and said, "Yes, but not anymore like before." That night, something changed inside her. She realized she was no longer the same girl who arrived from India. She was becoming stronger, more confident, more independent. Days turned into months, and then something unexpected happened at work. The company manager called her into the office. Her heart started beating fast. She thought she had made a mistake, but instead, the manager smiled. "We have been watching your progress," he said. "You work hard, you learn quickly, and customers like you." Then he paused. "We would like to promote you." For a moment, Priya could not speak. She blinked in disbelief. A promotion? Her? She remembered her first day in Japan, when she could barely understand anything, when she felt lost and alone. And now, she was being promoted. Tears slowly formed in her eyes. Not tears of sadness, but tears of pride. She bowed deeply and said, "Thank you very much." That night, she walked home under the city lights. The streets of Japan no longer felt strange. They felt familiar, like a place she had earned. But life was not finished surprising her yet. One evening, while working late, she met someone new. A customer from the UK named Daniel. He was patient when she spoke. He smiled when she made mistakes. And instead of correcting her harshly, he gently repeated words so she could learn. At first, it was just small conversations. Then it became longer conversations. Then it became something she looked forward to every day. They talked about dreams. They talked about life. They talked about fear and growth. Slowly, something deeper began to grow between them. Not rushed, not forced, just natural. One night, after closing the restaurant, Daniel waited outside. It was cold. The street was quiet. He looked at her and said, "I like talking with you. You inspire me." Priya's heart skipped. She didn't know what to say at first. She had come to Japan alone, struggled alone, grown alone. But now, she was not alone anymore. Months passed again. Her English became fluent. Her Japanese became natural. Her confidence became unshakable. She was no longer afraid of mistakes, because she understood something deeply now. Mistakes were not failure. They were steps forward. One evening, she stood on a bridge overlooking Tokyo. The city lights reflected on the river below. She smiled softly to herself. The same girl who once cried in a small apartment was now living a life she once only dreamed of. She had friends, she had respect at work, she had love, and most importantly, she had belief in herself. She whispered quietly, "I did not just move to Japan. I built my life here." And for the first time, she truly felt at home. That's the end of today's story. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something new. If you listened until the end, thank you so much for your time and support. Remember, you don't need perfect English to start. You just need consistency. Little by little, day by day, you will improve. Keep listening, keep practicing, and never give up on your dream. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe to Speak English Anywhere channel. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new story. This is Jaxsyn. See you in the next video. Bye for now.
Speak English Anywhere.